So earlier this week, I got word that SakuraJima was erupting. Actually, a pretty decent eruption. Went up about 5 kilometers. And now here on a Thursday, found out videographer James Reynolds shoots volcanoes all the time. And most of you know who he is from all the footage he has during the typhoons. Is going to be heading out there to document it, I guess. And with some of the eruptions taking place, figured I'd join in. So that's what this weekend's going to be about. Here on Friday, leaving from Tokyo, gonna head down to Kagoshima. Same day here in Tokyo, actually, a lot of snowfall. Really, it came down quite hard in western areas, not affecting the airport too much, but kind of interesting going from heavy snow to a volcano in one day. So, going to be looking forward to this. Now, for those of you who are interested, it takes about 2 hours to get to Kagoshima from Tokyo via airplane. I actually do recommend it if you are into volcanoes and you are visiting Japan. Met up with videographer James Reynolds once I got there. We did spend some time catching up there on Friday evening, but definitely had to call it an early night because early on Saturday morning, right around 4 a.m., was awake and ready to head out to the volcano. Alright, so it is crazy early in the morning here on Saturday, and we're going to be heading out to the volcano now. I actually have to take a ferry to get out there, heading out from Kagoshima City, and we're going to head across the bay here over towards SakuraJima. So yeah, definitely very excited for this. Do have to get up there pretty early, but get there at the mountain right at sunrise, and we think we're going to be, at the very least, seeing a beautiful sight. But the volcano erupted twice last night, right? So let's hope that it keeps on putting on a little bit of a song and dance for us. All right. One thing that is kind of a misnomer is that SakuraJima, it actually means Sakura Island, or Sakura means cherry blossom in Japanese, but it's not really an island. If you take a look at the map here, it actually is connected to the mainland. That is because an eruption about 100 years ago, I have to check the exact date, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen, took place and it connected the main volcano to the mainland here. So you still have to take a ferry to get out there from Kagoshima City, but if we really wanted to be adventurous, you could drive all the way around the bay, which the bay itself is an ancient caldera on top of that. So a little bit of an interesting tidbit. It's almost like driving in a blizzard here.
Yeah, no, it's a little weird because
you just take a look at the lights on this car when it comes by. That is just terrifying. Oh my. So I just made it out to the volcano. You can see it actually behind me. That is SakuraJima. And it's a little chilly. So hopefully the sun's going to come up here in a second and warm us up. But at the very least, hopefully it'll be all worth it once this starts putting something out. Fingers crossed.
literally been rolling for 30 seconds. We've just had our first spectacular eruption. The timing could not have been better.
Didn't capture the eruption. I just did my little piece a second ago, and yeah, it blew. We were still setting up here. James just started rolling about 30 seconds before it went, and wow. Now, outside of that initial eruption, a lot about watching these volcanoes is that you have to be very patient, and we have basically hours of footage that look much like this, just basically smoke plumes coming out, or it just sitting there absolutely calm. So there is a lot of things to do to pass the time. And also James Reynolds did bring some of his own different equipment to get a unique view of the crater when it did start to put on a little bit of a show. So what you doing there, James?
I just thought I would give the drone a shot because the sun's coming up and the light's going to be really beautiful, and the volcano's kind of doing this mild ash venting, so it could be a really
interesting opportunity to do a quick test of this thing and see how it looks. I'm very eager to get this thing up in the air and shooting some pictures.
So I'm in front of SakuraJima here, one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It has been continuously erupting since 1955, and records go back thousands of years here in Japan. Now, it is located in southern Kyushu, just outside of Kagoshima. Many people here, thousands of people live here. They see this every day, but I truly feel like it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We've already seen several large eruptions. One put out several lightning bolts with it as well, and it is continuing to put up these little well, I call them poofy events. They're just ash continuing to flow out of it. So we're going to continue to watch this. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, as great as this vantage point was of the mountain, we did want to set up some variety, so we ended up leaving this spot and tried to find some different viewpoints of SakuraJima.
Really a smart place to be driving.
Yeah.
What's that over there?
It seems very ominous.
Stop.
There is a volcano.
It's so cute.
Trying to find a
Volcano deserving spot.
yeah, and it's just all ash covered back here. I don't know, man. Oh, my jacket. Oh, that's just wonderful. Now, one of the challenges when trying to find a unique spot for observing the volcano is that you may run into some of these roadblocks as seen here, literally a roadblock, but also just the ash-covered trees. You don't want to be in any area like that, and that is definitely one of the obstacles we came across. So ending up to leaving that specific area and trying to find a new spot, which we eventually did come across. So, still trying to find another suitable spot after walking into some vegetation and that ash mess at the other spot. Follow this nice little riverbed. It's convenient.
You don't have to walk for very far until you do actually start feeling it looks a bit closer.
All right, right next to SakuraJima still here, and actually right behind me, this is one of the dams, part of the flood control system that prevents massive flooding and lahars from coming off this mountain. You may hear of this erupting, well, continuously for the last half century, but a lot of buildings down here are able to withstand it, and this has a lot to do with it, especially when you get the heavy rains mixed in with the ash, and if it causes problems. And in this scenario, this massive plain behind us and the dam that's set up here is meant to take care of that. So it's actually a pretty decent piece of architecture here, and all the different control measures they have in place to keep this area rather safe. Now, in this little video documentary I have made here, I have done a lot of editing, cutting out basically all of these wait times, because most of the video recorded over this long weekend was basically what you see right here. Just us shooting at a blank mountain and not much really happening. And it's all about luck, but also about patience, and you just sit there and wait, and then eventually... Oh! Oh! So after this went quiet for a few minutes, all the energy inside of it built up, and Yeah, it blew its top for a little bit here and made some pretty nice sound. So definitely worth the wait. What you see right now, though, is the ash cloud. It still actually is putting out some ash here. You can see it blowing up off the top. And this is all the ash cloud all the way off here towards the left. It looks kind of like Virga falling down, but that's the ash coming down. In the morning, you saw that basically almost looked like a blizzard when we were coming in. It was ash flying around everywhere, and that's out in the other direction. Thankfully, the wind is not blowing our way, or else you'd probably see us wearing masks here instead. But this is just a big trail. Now, Tokyo VAC, the volcanic alert, they're going to be putting out an advisory for this because any planes flying through it, definitely very dangerous conditions. It gets inside of the airplane motors and just seizes them right up. It's a beautiful sight at the very least. You don't have to be a volcanologist to really appreciate this.
I always come into these trips with very, very low expectations because you never know what's going to happen when you're kind of relying on Mother Nature to entertain you. But no, just mind-blowing. I was not expecting to just get this much filming done today.
Now SakuraJima is still exploding here. We have moved our location to the southeastern portion of the volcano. Winds are actually blowing in this direction, so I do have this out now, the mask to cover up my mouth, just not breathing in the ash over a long duration, because really is not good on your lungs. But the key thing to note, though, this is still exploding, but the ash cloud is overhead, and what we're starting to feel is the ash come down, and it almost feels like a hard type of rain, more of a sleet type of deal. So that's really what we're watching right now, but you can even see it off here in the distance. It's kind of hovering right along some of the trees and really making for some fairly incredible scenes. It almost looks like fog on top of some of these landscapes out here. Definitely going to continue to watch this. Now, what you can probably hear on the camera right now is actually the ash. It's currently falling on us. We got put right under the ash cloud here. That's all going to be falling on us. Gravity will bring it back down, so waiting on that. You can see right over top of me here, there's the ash cloud, and extend it back, and there's the volcano. That's amazing. Look at this. I'm sure you can see it coming down, probably hitting my jacket right now. This is just, it's not pleasant. I'm gonna get off of this because it's just like a little, just imagine you're sitting inside a sandbox and there's just an annoying kid throwing little rocks at you. That's, we're in the sandbox and that's the annoying little kid back there. So once again behind me, this is probably the sixth eruption of the day. Just a very active day out of SakuraJima here. So on that note, we actually wrapped up day one right at sunset. Wanted to make it back to the hotel, at least for some rest, plus a little bit of video editing before getting back on the same ferry right about 2:30 in the morning to try to capture some more video of this volcano erupting, especially in the overnight hours when being able to see a lightning bolt would be much easier. Plus, lava bombs definitely easier to detect in the pitch darkness out there. We are trying to get to our spot. I know it's a black screen on the display right now, and that's probably because that is basically exactly what I am seeing right now. But there's the moon, the volcanoes to the left. This camera's not really great in low light, but what I can say is I think we made it to our spot. There is absolutely no light here. It's almost what, about 5 a.m.? No, it's after 5. About 5:30. And
Cold.
cold, very cold. Temperature's got to be around freezing, below freezing. Checked the Kestrel a second ago. It was just above, about 2-3 degrees. Volcano went quiet though, which is a good news. Maybe it might erupt. That light you see actually right in front of the screen here, the green and the red, that is not aliens. That's actually about 2 inches away from the camera. That's my camcorder. That's basically the only light we're seeing right now outside of the stars.
It's aliens.
And then James has his camera right there, and that's mine. The two aliens setting up in front of SakuraJima.
Too cold for aliens. Let's join.
They just. It is the early morning hours of day 2 of watching SakuraJima here in southern Kyushu, just outside of Kagoshima. This morning, not really putting on as much of a show as it did on the day 1 on Saturday, but nonetheless, we did get some smoke plumes coming out of it, and still watching it. It has been rather quiet for the last hour, and thinking it might be building up here for something better. So we're going to continue to watch this as it possibly develops. I do want to say, though, it was a very cold morning. We actually been sitting out here for several hours in the dark. The sun's just now starting to come up. Temperatures right around freezing, by the way. It's February 1st. That's what you can expect. And, yeah, so hopefully some sun rays get out here and warm us up a little. See, I'm just cold the way I'm talking. All right. And all of that waiting in the dark and in the cold definitely was worth it, because it led to just an absolutely beautiful sight. When the sun came up, it does look like SakuraJima woke up as well. So all the waiting during the early morning hours, we got out here about 3 a.m. It went quiet about 4 a.m., sat quiet for several hours. All that pressure really built up, and just an incredible image coming out of this right now. This plume has to be going up at least 5,000 to 6,000 feet, likely higher. But I think the big deal is we're right at the pre-dawn hour, and if you know much about photography, lighting is a big deal. And right now it has just this amazing reddish tint to the ash. It's coming overhead. Even got some lightning bolts with this one. And the good thing is I just put my camera down and started recording when it started going off after taking about a 15-minute break. So it's all about timing and luck, I suppose, and it's just beautiful out here. Yeah. Now, after this absolutely amazing sunrise eruption, we ended up continuing to film the volcano throughout the rest of the morning. James even got out his drone and ended up filming a very unique view of the crater from the air out here. But I didn't want to just concentrate on the eruptions themselves, but also explore a little bit of the local community here. And what you end up finding out is that this volcano has a lot of history. SakuraJima has actually been erupting for quite some time. This isn't anything new here, and even in 1914 there was a massive eruption. It buried over 600 homes in this immediate area where I am right now. And right behind me here, this is a torii. It's the entrance to a shrine. I believe it's the Haragosha shrine, and this was left after the eruption. They stopped excavation of it because it really displays how massive it was. And this is just the top part of it. It typically is an archway. You should be able to walk under it. And you can just see right here, that is definitely not the case. So under me is buried homes just from a whole entire village, and just shows the power behind it. I think this would be just an amazing place to go to school. This is actually a school right behind me. You can see right here, Gakko right on the end. So, public school system right at the base of an active volcano. All right. So with this trip that keeps on giving, apparently what we just seen off towards the side, while James was actually flying his drone here, I just looked off in that way, and when I used to work in Florida, I seen a lot of space shuttle launches, and it's very obvious when you have a high altitude contrail. So in Tanegawa-shima, we just found out there was a rocket launch, and that's what it looked like, and definitely very interesting. And yeah.
I actually think it was a chemtrail launch.
Put there by the UFOs coming out of the volcano.
It's been a fantastic opportunity to get involved with a lot of ridiculous conspiracy theories. Just as a nice pump.
So this is probably the 50th volcanic eruption this weekend, which has been just an amazing, amazing weekend, one eruption after another, and I really want to thank you, James. This is awesome.
We've got to thank the volcano.
Yeah, well,
you know, it's a huge game of luck, really. You know, I've been here before and sat under this volcano for 5 days and seen nothing, so we just really, really lucked out on this trip, and it's just been fantastic. You can't really go wrong.
And on that note, thanks for watching, everyone. If you do want to know more about SakuraJima, a quick Google search, you can find a lot of information on it. There are plenty of places to watch this volcano from the perimeter. So if you are a volcanologist or a volcano enthusiast, this is definitely one of the better volcanoes to go and watch. But as James just said, it's all about luck, and it's all about if the volcano wants to cooperate with you that particular day. But Kagoshima in general is definitely a very unique town. It is very different from Tokyo, so if you are visiting Tokyo, it's a quick flight just down there towards the south. Special thanks to James Reynolds for bringing me along on this trip. If you want to see his footage from SakuraJima and plus other volcanoes from around Eastern Asia, check out his YouTube channel, Earth Uncut TV. Also, you can follow him on Twitter at Earth Uncut TV, and plenty of great footage there and information he's sharing out from inside typhoons as well. So please do go check that out. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel. And as always, though, thanks for watching, guys. All right.